Hello and welcome back to the Hubbard Family History, covering the Hubbard clan of Clay County, Kentucky. We plan to cover over 1,200 years of Hubbard family history, from the pre-800 Viking times to modern day 2024. This week we're continuing on Mamaw Hubbard, Lena Gray, her side of the family, and we'll be covering about one generation, the 10th great grandparents. So here's a pre-recorded video beginning that will trace more of the ancestors on Mamaw Hubbard's side of the family. Okay, this week we're only going to get to cover one more generation, the 10th generation, because we got a lot of people here on the Mamaw Hubbard, her side of the family. So starting here in the 9th generation, James Murray, his father was Robert Murray. And he was born in 1652 in Inverness, Scotland, and died in 1738 in Scotland, so 86 years old. His wife was Margaret Cook, and that's about all we know about her. You got to remember, 10 great-grandparents back, we're talking about, over, got my notes here, 1,024 potential 10 great grandparents off of that one grandparent. So all your great-great-grandparents, they would be like, for at 10 great-greats back, you're talking about 4,096 people. So a lot of people to go together. And they may not all be different people, as we saw last week, where we had some common ancestors. And I think I told you all they were third cousins, but they were actually second cousins. I'll have a link below that you can get a nice chart and an explanation to tell you how closely related you are to somebody. So we'll continue on here. Barbara Mann, down here, her father was Andrew Mann, born in 1652 in Inverness, Scotland. We don't know when he died. His wife, all we know is her name was Lilias Cowie. Then we go to Nathaniel Mitchell. His parents were Captain William Henshaw Mitchell, born in 1624 in Virginia, died in 1688 in Virginia. His wife was Martha Baxter, born in 1620 in Middlesex, England, and died in 1659 in Virginia. Then we go to Nathaniel Mitchell. Oh, that's the one we just covered, I'm sorry. Catherine Bates, her father was John Winston Bates, born in York, Virginia in 1627, died in 1701 in York County, Virginia. His wife, all we know is her name was Elizabeth Daniels. John Noe, it's kind of a new name that we didn't have last week. We don't have any information on his parents. John Noe was born in 1649 in Scotland, died in 1727 in Charles County, Maryland. His wife was Sarah Tennyson. So that's about all we know about either one of them. We don't have their parents. Here's another new name that wasn't in here last week in their 9th generation, Justinian Branch. He was born in 1632 in Dorset, England, and died in 1699 in Charles County, Maryland. His father was Reverend John Tennyson Clark, born in 1599 in Cumberland, England, and died in 1671 in Cumberland, England. His wife was Mary Mercy Christian Dowsing, born in 1603 in England, and died in 1667 in England. Now going over to Justinian Birch's wife, we don't, all we know is her name's Catherine Gresham. We don't have any information on her parents. Jonathan Dennis, his father was Jonathan Dennis, born in 1641 in Yarmouth, Massachusetts, and died in 1689 in Middlesex, New Jersey. Jonathan Dennis and his mother was Mary Sarah Bloomfield. She was born in 1643 in Essex, Massachusetts, died in 1689 in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Jonathan Dennis's wife, Rachel Hull, her father was Captain Benjamin Hull, born in 1639 in the Plymouth County, Massachusetts, died in 1713 in Middlesex County, New Jersey. His wife was Rachel Branson York, born in 1639 in Dover, New Hampshire, and died in 1741 in Piscataway, New Jersey. Jonathan, so then we have Thomas Durfee Jr. His father was Thomas Durfee, born in 1643 in Exeter, England, and died in 1712 after coming over to the United States, died there in Rhode Island. His wife was Anne Durfee. She's born the 22nd of March, 1626 in Rhode Island, and she 1628, she died in Rhode Island in 1687. Thomas Durfee's wife, Susanna Freeborn, her father was Gideon Freeborn, born in 1635 in Suffolk, Massachusetts, and died in 1719 in Rhode Island. His wife was Sarah Brownell. She was born in 1641 in Newport, Rhode Island, and died in 1676 at 35 years old, pretty young, there in Rhode Island. Then we go to Paul Abney. His father was Sir Edmund, the Lord Mayor of Leicester Abney, born in 1530 in Derbyshire, England, and died in 1604 in Leicester, England, where he was the mayor, I guess. His wife was Catherine Ludham. She was born in 1566 in Leicester, England, and died in 1604 in Leicester, England. Paul Abney's wife was Mary Brooksby, and her father was George Matthew Brooksby, born in 1572 in Leicester, England, and died in 1614 in Leicester, England. His wife was Elizabeth Brooksby, born 1572 in Leicestershire, England, and died in 1602, same place. 30 years old, pretty young. Then we go over to Joseph Lee, who I don't think we had last week, maybe we did. Born in 1597 there, and his father was Thomas Wilby Lee, born about 1575 in England, died in April of 1634 in St. Catherine by the Tower, London, England. His wife, well, we know her name was Joanne. We don't have any information on Joseph Lee's wife's parents. Jonathan Ward, I think he's a new name. We don't have any information other. He was born in 1626 in Suffolk, England, and died in 1708 in Newtown, Massachusetts. His wife named Hannah Jackson. We don't have any information on her. John Moore, we don't have any information on his parents or his wife, Priscilla Baling. Edward Maxey, who was involved in the second cousin deal, he was the great-grandfather of that couple there. His father was Edward Maxey, and that's all we know is his name. His mother was Elizabeth Ann White. She's born in 1647 in Henrico County, Virginia, and died in 1692 in Virginia, age of 45. Edward Maxey's wife, Mary Gates, her father was John Gates, born in 1621 in Chesham, England, and died in 1713 in Goochland in Virginia. And then we go over to Francis Sampson. His father was John Sampson. That's all we know about him. His wife was Elizabeth Elfrida Humphrey. She was born 1658 in Sussex, England, and died in 1703 in Barbados. So, in the Caribbean there. Francis Simpson's wife, Judith Beazlett. Her father was Francois Beazlett, but that's all he has, his name. His wife was Laurent Cambon La Riviere, born in 1646 in Normandy, France, and died in 1726 in Quebec. So we'd have a repeat here of Edward Maxey and Elizabeth White, who were parents of this Edward Maxey, again, that same person that was involved in the deal we were talking about. And same thing on his wife, Mary Gates. So Pierre Louis Sublette, his father was Abraham Sublette, born in 1648 in the Ardennes of France, and died in 1717 in Goochland, Virginia. His wife was Suzanne Bryan, who was born in 1660 in Champagne, Dordogne, Aquitaine, France, and died in 1723 in Henrico County, Virginia. His wife, Martha Martin, her father was Jean-Jeremy Martin de Sedan, who was born in 1662 in La Chapelle Blanche, Côte d'Amer, Bretagne, France, and died in 1756 in Virginia. His wife was Marie Genevieve Archambault, born in 1666 in Montreal, and died in 1687 in Montreal, so she died pretty young. Then we have Jean-Pierre Faure, which could be Ford. His father was Daniel Isaac Faure, born in 1647 in La Rochelle in France, and died in 1710 in Virginia. And his wife was Mary Ann Chastain, born in 1652 in the province of Berry, France, and died in 1700 in Henrico County, Virginia. And Mary Eve Faust Faure, who was Jean-Pierre Faure's wife, and her ninth great-great-grandmother. We have no information on her parents. So again, it's taken a pretty good time. We've been on this probably long enough. Next week we'll get into the 11th and hopefully 12th generation. So thanks for tuning in. I'm excited this week to introduce our sponsor. This company is working to release a new video game that promises to be a little more relaxing than most video games, probably more suited for people my age.
Hello, fellow gamers. I'm thrilled to introduce you to one of the most enthralling games of the year, Paint Dry. This game is a visual treat with its expansive open world and impressive visuals. Plus, it's super easy to get started. Painting has never been so thrilling. In Paint Dry, you're a painter in an open-world city, tasked with transforming buildings and objects with a paintbrush. The game provides plenty of room for creativity, with no restrictions on how you paint or which objects you use. The larger your painting grows, the more points you receive, and the longer it takes the paint to dry. The city is yours to explore. As you complete more tasks and unlock new areas, your creations will become visible to other players, enhancing the immersive multiplayer experience. The game also rewards you for finding hidden collectibles within the city. And that's not all. You can connect your Discord account for additional rewards and form painter groups with friends. The painting isn't done until it dries. Special sensors make sure you are in your seat watching it dry. If you don't watch until it dries, you lose. This way you can totally relax. Invite your friends over to watch with you or join others in a multiplayer game. So, what are you waiting for? Jump into this exciting world and let your watching paint dry skills shine. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this video helpful and enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more gaming content. Happy gaming!
Well, hopefully you discovered some new and interesting information in this week's video, and hope that you share it with others. Here's a little fun piece of information for you. We've tracked back to our grandchildren's ancestry 20 generations of Hubbards. For 20 generations, that's 8,388,606 people. That's about twice the population of Kentucky. Now that's what it takes to make you after 20 generations. So we can see that although we're covering a lot of people in these videos, we'll not be getting anywhere close to 8 million. The 20th generation back, just that generation would cover 4.2 million people, and we got a record of one. One out of 4.2 million people that we know had a part in bringing us here today, and a lot of other people. So if you continued this back, you would cover everybody ever born in the world for 34 generations. But since we know that that's not true, there's a lot more than 34 generations to go back to Adam and Eve. You have to have a lot of duplications in there, so a lot of cousins are closer, having offspring. We've seen evidence of this, last week. So it takes, I'm just pointing this out to say it takes a lot of people to bring us to where we are today. It's an amazing thing that over 8 million people had to come together to make our generation. So next week, good Lord willing, we'll continue coverage in the Mamaw Hubbard's line. Until then, dear friends, share us on Facebook. Stay safe, stay well. But whatever else you do, stay Hubbard. Peace out.